Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efene, the great Malabite.
Good morning.
Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Action.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning.
Good morning, Victoria, Tundu, MQ Abiola.
Good morning.
Yes, shades of grey, I can see check on that blazer. Mm-hmm. Some polka dots? No, just different types of check. Well, the designer did a good job. And it's always going to look beautiful on a beautiful lady. Now let's start the review.
Emmanuel's favorite name is Victoria.
Yes. He loves the Victoria.
Now let's start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story in damning report, Lagos NSAS panel says 11 killed at Lekki Tollgate, reveals 24 injured, 15 assaulted, 96 corpses found across states, says Army refused to allow medical help for the wounded, recommends various sanctions for accused officers, indicts LCC for manipulation of videos. Sanwo-Olu sets up implementation committee, submits report to NEC. Yes, the governor has promised that after the four-man committee to come up with a white paper, the Executive Council of Lagos State will look at it and submit it to the federal government. Yes, I am totally in support of Sanwo-Olu submitting that report to the federal government because the atrocities so mentioned were caused by agents of the federal government. Now, a few weeks ago, the Minister of Information addressed a press conference where he said that the so-called Lekki massacre must be the first massacre without blood or body. Was he being mischievous? Or he was anticipating this report and wanted to play a fast one on Nigeria and the global community? But here is the report of a panel set up that investigated this matter. Indeed, Nigerians were killed. They were shot at. So if there was an attempt by the minister to put a spin on what was to come, when you fire bullets, you cannot put a spin to change the trajectory. It will hit people. And people were hit, people were killed, people were injured. That is the report from the panel that investigated this matter. The Minister of Information, I would just want to say, quoting or borrowing from a very familiar phrase from a very familiar Nigerian, a man of integrity, Professor Jerry Ghana, who used to say in those Mamsa days, if you are a Minister of Information, you inform well. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, has not informed well. And I'm sure this will surely splatter on his face. And you know, he has a reputation over time. I don't need to restate that. I'll just move on. Yes, the Vanguard newspaper is also reporting this story. NSAS panel report indicts Army police over Lekki shootings. And of course, the Daily Sun newspaper has that report. On the panel report, Lagos NSAS panel awards 409.7 million naira to 70 petitioners. Submits report held 186 out of 252 petitions. But below the photograph in front page of the Daily Sun newspaper, death of Nigerian in Côte d'Ivoire sparks outrage. Federal government demands full investigation. A young Nigerian by name Itunu Babalola, who was convicted in Côte d'Ivoire over allegations that she was not guilty of, has died in prison. the Nigerian authorities must hold the Cote d'Ivoire government accountable. They must investigate and get to the root of that matter. Ruben?
No. I mean, please carry on. I just wanted you to hurry up.
Okay.
Because we have issues of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just move on quickly. Now, the Guardian newspaper. Inflation decelerates the five market reality. Figures contradict global trend. Worst days ahead, farmers warn. Address insecurity to save situation, federal government advised. Figures doctored to achieve predetermined objective. Well, the inflation figure came down, according to the Bureau of Statistics. But it does not mean that there was no inflation. It's just that the rate at which prices went up in the last 1 month reduced. But prices still went up. So, is the report from the Bureau of Statistics. When they say the inflation is high, it's going up, we accept it. So when they say it's coming down, we should also accept it, the rate of inflation. Not that prices are no longer going up, but inflation at 2 digits anywhere is a problem to the economy, it's a problem to the citizenry. Now, the Punch newspaper, ASU threatens fresh strike, says agreed 22 billion Naira allowance unpaid, and allowance not that of an association education minister. Hold government responsible if we go on strike, say lecturers. Now, this is a familiar story. Governments, not just this administration, go into agreement with labor, although I don't consider ASU, elitist ASU, as the classical labor, but when you go into an agreement with an association, you keep it 1 year after the agreement. Federal government yet to deliver. Of course, ASU, I would be surprised if they don't go on strike after 3 weeks if government don't do anything. So when they go on strike, after some time, the same government will call them for negotiation. To negotiate what? Another agreement that will not be kept. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, dip in oil output may worsen economy. Analysts say drop may eat into fabric of earnings. Forex, we are not able to meet our oil production as allocated by OPEC. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, troops kill 50 ISWAP fighters in Borno as bandits execute 15 persons in Sokoto, attack Zamfara village for failing to pay levy. Yes, that is the level of insecurity. Citizens being asked to pay levy by non-state actors. If they don't do, they are killed. Very serious. Now, let me just look at the foreign newspapers quickly. The Daily Telegraph newspaper. Suicide bomber was a Christian convert. National terror threat level now severe as fears raised of Christmas bombing campaigns. Yes, these terrorists who carried out that bombing in front of a hospital in Liverpool converted to Christianity in 2017. Imagine what he was planning. Now, he will have joined other worshippers, perhaps in December, to celebrate Christmas and alas. So, the threat level is up in the UK. Now, the Financial Times newspaper. Shell plan to move tax base to UK. Spurs dodge into last-ditch action. Bid to scrap dividend levy. Oil major seeks to boost buybacks. London welcome step. Yes, if the plan goes ahead, the group CEO of Shell, Royal Dutch Shell, will move to the UK, and the term Royal Dutch will be dropped from the name that have answered the past 114 years. Ruben Rufai, Antonio, over to you.
But Shell was a merger. I think there used to be Royal Dutch back in the days, and there was Shell itself. So
they've been answering that name for the past 114 years.
Yeah, it was after a merger that name came to be. But one thing is certain in all of this. I think the story, most editors went to sleep early, and they couldn't capture that story of the report, the damning report of Lagos NSAS panel. I think it's only this day and probably Tribune.
No, Punch. The Vanguard newspaper
Vanguard
has it, yes.
Okay, Vanguard.
Put up Vanguard there.
Vanguard,
they also
Tribune,
have it. Give them the credits.
And
panel indicts Army, police over Lekki. It's also
I think one thing, and like you said extensively about this report, is I think one thing this report has shown is the fact that we need introspection about that incident that happened. because that was the all-new law in Nigeria's history. It was an all-new law. We could have settled matters better. It didn't have to resort to using the military and killing citizens in a democratic nation. The findings of that panel and the resolution of that panel says we should never call the military into this again. The finding of that panel went further to state explicitly there that harmless citizens that were singing the national anthem and had national flags were killed by the soldiers that were supposed to protect them.
Well, there are additional points to be made, and I would like to make them. And they are as follows. One, many people told us that nobody was killed at that Lekki Tollgate. The police said they did not kill anybody. The military said they did not even use live ammunition. But Justice Doris Okuobi's panel, sitting over months, has now come forward to say, in fact, that there was a massacre and that live bullets were used.
The panel used the word massacre.
Yes.
So
So that point to be made.
who is going to
Damn
get
it.
sanctioned for that? Because apparently the panel is just saying that, look, the Nigerian police, a strategic institution, is telling lies to the Nigerian people.
Yes.
And that the Nigerian army is made up of liars who came to appear before that panel.
Well, not
So
the
who's going
Nigerian
to get...
army, the guys who came to testify
Well,
on their behalf.
No, I said no. They were
Yes.
representing an institution.
Yes.
They don't go there and say what has not been approved by the institution.
Well, you think
know,
so?
So this is a big issue. The second issue is the story on the front page of The Guardian. Inflation decelerates, defies market reality. If you read that story, we're told that experts are very skeptical about the figure of 18.24% inflation rate that has been announced, which is contrary to the trend, to the international trend. In Europe, in the United States, in North America, let's put it like that. Okay, is that something that anybody has been doing? And now there's very great skepticism about figures coming from the Bureau of Statistics. And, you know, that should be a subject of concern because under Yemi Kale, when Yemi Kale was still there, part of the reputation of the Bureau of Statistics was the integrity of the institution. And now those who know, the experts, they are raising questions and they are saying, is the MBS doctoring, you know, figures in order to make Nigeria look good? These are issues that we can debate and that we can get others to look at. Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Efene. We'll see you again tomorrow. Not enough time, you know, often to discuss some of these things.